Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.
Look, anytime you make a mistake in training, you push a little too hard and you get injured, you have pain. That pain creates an urgent need for answers, specifically a need to answer 3 specific questions. Number 1, what's causing the pain? What is the diagnosis? And number 2, what's the treatment? What do I have to do to get it to heal? And number 3, how fast is it going to get better? Now, this one's, of course, is crucial because that's really the million-dollar question. That's really why you call a doctor, why you call me for a Skype visit, why you call me on the phone, why you send your questions to me. You want to know how can you get it better faster so you can get back to running sooner. But these 3 questions are basically what happened and how quickly can you fix it. You want to put a name on the problem, you want to start the correct treatment, and you want to have an expectation of how quickly that treatment is going to give you the result you want. Above all else, you want to know when you can run. But to answer these 3 questions, the doctor needs to know 3 basic pieces of information. First and foremost, how did the running injury happen? What were you doing when it started? And then, what did you do after your foot started hurting? Did you stop running? Did you ice it? Did you change the type of shoes you were using? What did you do? And then the third piece of information that we need as a physician to try to help you figure out when you're really going to get back to running is how much has the foot pain improved day to day since you started doing something differently after it started hurting. Now, the number 1 mistake that I see runners make when they get this kind of injury is not keeping track. The fact is you can't remember. You don't want to remember. If you could vividly recall every moment of a painful root canal, that would not be a good thing. So your brain actually has the power to shut off and fog all of those details of all manner of unpleasant sensations. We don't really want to remember all of the pain that we have. We don't really want to think about how long it's been. We certainly don't want to think about how long we've been unable to run the way that we want to. Pain is a really important signal. Pain receptors in your skin, a strained muscle, a sprained ligament, or an aching bone send signals to your brain. But pain is not just a physical experience. It's a cognitive experience. Your brain is processing that information and trying to determine what that foot pain means. But you may actually kind of unconsciously be thinking about what that aching pain means to your training plan and the workouts you have planned over the next few days as soon as you start feeling that pain. Pain is also an emotional experience. You feel fear about not being able to make it to your race. You think you may not finish your race. You think you may not be able to run anymore at all ever. And that's particularly true if you have a problem and you go see a doctor who's just discouraging. So you really need a workaround. You need some other solution. You simply have to track that pain if you want to figure out not only what's wrong and how you can get it better, but if you really want to figure out how you're going to get back to running quickly, you have to track that pain. That's the important part. What I know is that most runners don't. At least most runners who call me, who are frustrated, who are not getting better, they're not getting back to running, their doctors tell them to stop running. Those people who call me, who have been tracking their training, tracking their progress in every other area, don't really seem to be tracking their pain. Now, most runners, of course, we want to think and believe the pain that we got during some run will miraculously vanish by morning. Fortunately, a lot of the times that happens. But if you really have an overtraining injury and you wake up and you have pain, the next day it may be a little bit better, but maybe it's not gone. But in a sense, when that happens, you have been rewarded by ignoring and trying to forget that pain. The real problem is when that pain is still hanging around, forcing you to run slower, cut your run short, maybe 2, 3, or 10 weeks later. At that point, of course, you know it's a problem. You know you need help. You know you need to talk to an expert. You know you have to see a doctor, or you have to really start trying to work hard to figure it out on your own. The real problem I see at that point is that most injured runners I talk to don't really have a crystal clear memory of the progression of pain. They really don't know how it's changed. They haven't kept track. They can't remember how much it improved over the first 2, 3, or 7 days. But that change, that level of improvement, the response to the things you're doing right now is actually the most important piece of information when you want to know how quickly you will heal. It is the most important piece of information to any doctor, or me if you call me, when you want to know when you're going to be able to run. So right now, stop, print out the runner's pain journal and fill it out. Even if you have no plans to see a doctor, you never call me to get me to help you figure out how quickly you're going to get better. You need a clear record of your pain level and the exact activities that made it worse or better. Let's face it, most runners can pick a race, create a training plan, follow a plan, and make it through the race. You can do that without a coach. You can do it on your own. When you make a mistake and get a running injury, you just have to figure out how to stay fit and get back on track. It's kind of the same process. Most runners have all the tools, resources, and ability available right now to figure out how to get better and get back to running. But don't cheat yourself. Start creating an accurate record of your pain today. It will be the most valuable piece of the puzzle in getting back to running.
Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.